Welcome to Omnath Road Rage. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we'll keep on this one. I kind of like it. We've got Chromatic Lantern. Hopefully, with Faith is Looting, we can dig just 2 cards deeper and find a green source, and then that'll really help us kind of get this ramp going. So let's go and lead off with Mountain. Let's go for Faith is Looting, and let's see what we can loot out of the back of Omnath and Mossbridge's car. Okay, we run into another mountain. Let's do well. Either way, we can still go for Chromatic Lantern, so that's not the end of the world. I think at this point we need to get rid of impact trimmers, and Farseek does allow us to grab another land on the battlefield. Do we want to get? We can use worldly. Yeah, let's get rid of worldly tutor. Yeah, I think we're okay with that. Everything else is pretty nice. We really just want to ramp with this deck a lot. So anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. But yes, welcome to some Road Rage. Hope you're excited to run down the highway on the way to the command tower and kind of rage out with Omnath and Mossbridge Troll. And I'll kind of explain that here in a second. But let's cover our commander. So we're playing Omnath, Locus of Rage, landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 5/5 red and green elemental creature token. Then whenever Omnath, Locus of Rage, or another elemental you control dies, Omnath deals 3 damage to any target. So, all right, run into Ogre Battle Driver, which is actually a pretty good option for this deck. So, we'll have Mountain down and then pass the turn to our opponent. Playing against Valduk, Keeper of the Flame. At the beginning of combat on your turn, for each aura and equipment attached to Valduk, create a 3/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. Exile those tokens at the beginning of the next end step. So, all right, so we definitely don't hit a green source, but luckily we do have Chromatic Lantern. So let's have that come down, and then anything else will pass it back over to our opponent. Now, I do want to point this out. With Valduk, he does get the elementals on the battlefield. One of the cool things in the art is, if you look right where my mouse is, right below the hammer, or the handle, you can see the little elementals in the forge. So I always like to enjoy the mental image of Valduk just banging his hammer against the forge as more and more little elementals come out. Now, one of the best things about Valduk that you can do is just run exactly like this, just cheap pieces of equipment, because Valduk is a Voltron commander, but not really, and I'll talk about that here in a second. So we've got, it comes into the battlefield, tap for 2, we can Kodama's Reach for 3, which still allows us to go for Farseek. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to go for Kodama's Reach. Actually, if we end up going for Haro, make sure I'm sequencing this correct. So we go, they're going to enter the battlefield untapped. Let's tap down. Let's go Haro. Sacrifice a mountain. We're going to grab 2 forests, put those 2 forests onto the battlefield. And that's still going to give us access to 3 mana. Let's go Kodama's Reach. That way it's still going to give us a little bit extra. There we go. I guess technically it didn't really matter grabbing forests with the Kodama's Reach, but it still feels good grabbing some lands. Let's grab a mountain, and then we'll grab another forest. Let's have forest going on the battlefield. Mountain goes into our hand. Let's make the land drop for the turn. There we go. Anything else, let's pass the turn over to our opponent. So that was a very nice little turn, I guess turn 4 for us, whatever that was. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are staring down Omnath mana at this point right now. Now, one of the things that you definitely want to do with Omnath is you want to be able to generate an elemental as soon as it comes down. So we're probably not going to go for Omnath just yet. We might want to actually end up setting up Greater Good, and that'll be a little bit of a better option for us. So, all right, so we do actually run into a forest. Yeah, I think I'm kind of okay with that. So yeah, because if we didn't hit the land drop, I wouldn't be doing this. But since we do at least have Omnath to go for, yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna get down old Omnath. There we go. Let's have Omnath come down. Let's make the land drop for the turn. That's going to be a forest. And we're going to get ourselves a nice 5/5 red-green elemental. And anything else, pass it over to our opponent. So let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to ride in the car, if you want to carpool with Omnath and Mossbridge Troll on the way to the command tower while we listen to some gardening podcasts and we listen to some metal, hey, we're leaving in about 10 minutes. Make sure you're over there. And we're probably going to stay there most of the day. So at least kind of let a loved one know that you're going to be gone for a good minute. My goodness, that look at Valduk right there. That is that's some good magic right there. All right, so we got flying and haste. There's not really much we can do about that. Trample and haste. I guess we block on a few of these elementals, and hope we get a few more land drops. But with Valduk having flying, that's not going to be the best for us. All right, that's going to put us down to 17. But yeah, sure check out MTGOTraders and Ink Gaming. You know, the coupon code option on that, and Patreon, of course. So there we go. Let's have some fun. And we run. Ooh, oh, okay, that's going to be good. All right, so we're looking at 7 in the air. Okay, so they got flying and haste, and then when an elemental dies, 3 damage to any target. So actually, we can do this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we can. Yeah, this is going to be perfect. So let's have Ogre Battle Driver come down. Then we go for Greater Good. Yeah, this. Let me see. We might be able to one-shot this one. We'll see. Because we've got Scalding Tarn. That's going to be another elemental. And that's going to be a nice little bonus from Ogre Battle Driver. And also, Ogre Battle Driver works out really well in Valduk, too. So, there we go. So, let's have that come down. Let's go for Greater Good. Because that's going to be 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen. All right, so we're going to have 5/5 Elemental enter the battlefield. And we're going to get that. Oh, look at that nice bonus. Let's go and crack Scalding Tarn. We're going to grab ourselves Tiger Uppercut, and get another Elemental on the battlefield. Oh, look at that. Let's go and swing in with the entire crew. It's going to be 5, 10. That's going to be 20. Yeah, that's going to be enough to one-shot our opponent. There we go. All right, look at that. So we're going to be able to swing in. Then we can use Greater Good to close it out. Our opponent thought they had a crazy start, but we've got an even better start. Our opponent's going to scoop it up on that. So look at that. Omnath and Moshford is just driving down the road. Just complete disregard for Valduk and his elementals trying to get to their job at the forge. All right, so we've got Greater Good. We're going to be able to sacrifice a creature. And once we sacrifice 2 of these elementals, that's going to be 3 damage up top to our opponent. And you can just see how good Ogre Battle Driver is with Scalding Tarn. It's a good feeling. So anyway, I'll see you in the next Omnath game. All right, bye. Welcome back from the pit stop from Omnath Road Rage. Hope you're excited. As far as man, that was a crazy game. I really enjoyed that. As far as opening hand goes, we have no land, so we're gonna have to mulligan on this one. And Rootbound Crag. That's gonna be Fervor, Rampant Growth, Pandemonium. This is a very slow hand. I mean, we've got Rampant Growth. And we've got some good utility stuff between Fervor and Pandemonium and Excavator, but without I'm just not super wild about this. So we'd have to go down to 5. Yeah, I guess we just keep on this one and see what's going to happen. So we have to put 1 card on the bottom of our line. Let's go and put Excavator, and then hopefully we'll get lucky and run into some sort of card draw. The Rampant Growth at least gets us to the 3 range. Don't let us yield through the turn. Oh no. Hopefully we get to our second main phase. I almost skipped through our turn. Yeah, so what happens is I was like looking to see if I wanted to keep that hand. And okay, there we go. Let's lead off with Force and then pass the turn. Whew, that was a close one. Yeah, I have an auto yield button. That way it just makes it a lot easier for me to read commanders while our opponent's doing stuff or while we're doing stuff. And for some reason, I just thought our opponent was going first. And so I just almost auto yielded through our turn. So I'm glad that did not happen. Let's go for Rootbound Crag. Let's have Rampant Growth. Let's get that probably a mountain on the battlefield. Anything else, pass it over to our opponent. We're playing Omnath, and we're playing against Valduk. And so I think the way I'm going to edit these videos together, you'll be able to see that first game. So I've already covered everything else. So very early in the game, it's officially free time. We can have some fun. And the good thing about that is we can talk about where this Omnath story came from. So, all right, so we did get a lane down for the turn. Pandemonium's really going to help our opponent out, so we need to save that Pandemonium. And we'll have Fervor come down. That'll be a good option. We're still going to actually end up playing Force, because if we somehow get lucky, draw a bunch of lands, and somehow we can save this Bloodstained Mire for whenever Omnath gets down, we definitely want to do that. So, but we will make the land drop if we have to. Now, as far as the story between Omnath and Moshbridge Troll, Omnath Road Rage was the very first deck that I put out as a new release on a Friday, and that was a very long time ago, probably like 3 years ago. And so, in fact, it was kind of like my first little flavor deck. Like the first few decks that actually started out on my channel, I can't remember the first one. Then it was like Arkham Bomb Squad, Omnath Road Rage, and the Church of Athreos. Those are like the 3 founding decks of my channel that I just played a lot. And so Omnath Road Rage, I built Omnath, and I really enjoyed, like, the font that I used for Omnath was called Road Rage, and that's what inspired me to make an Omnath Road Rage deck. And so, or at least call it Omnath Road Rage. And I was like, well, if Omnath is driving down the road, he's like the locus of rage. He needs to have a buddy that's driving with him. And so I tossed Moshbridge Troll in the deck, and I was like, well, It's just kind of like a funny card. Just, if it ends up happening, that's going to work out. And so I just created this dynamic where Omnath and Mossbridge Troll are commuting together on their way to their job at the command tower. And one of the reasons why Omnath is so mad is because Mossbridge likes to listen to metal a lot while they're driving. And so, Omnath wants to listen to garden podcasts. That's what all he's about. All right, so we got hit pretty hard. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be 6 in the land drop. No, if we go Pandemonium, they're just going to clean us up. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3. That's going to be 3, 6, 9. That's going to be lethal on us next turn, I think, because that's going to be 6 coming across, puts us down to 9. Then the 3 elementals coming across. All right, we might as well have some fun with our opponent. We'll let them get Pandemonium down because we're going to be dead on the back end. There's nothing else we can do, so we'll pass the turn. But yeah, so basically, I just wanted to create this dynamic where Omnath was driving down the road, getting mad because Mossbridge doesn't understand that if you're riding with somebody to work, that you should share time of the radio or at least the car speakers, and so they just listen to a bunch of metal, and that's where the road rage comes from. So if you've ever wondered where that came from, then that is it. And also the art down at the bottom left corner of my screen, that was the very first piece of mail that somebody ever sent me when I started my channel. And I just thought that was so crazy that somebody wanted to send me something. And we're talking about like a month into it. So I'm not sure if they still watch my videos or not, but I'm pretty sure they're from the UK, I think. It was actually really cool. And so I really appreciate that. So it's really cool to have this art down here and on the channel to kind of represent Omnath Road Rage. So we're letting our opponent live the dream right now. We got that Pandemonium down because we would have been crushed either way. So Valduk has been tailgating us after that last game and just ran us over. All right, so they swing in and they go for Incinerate. So anyways, I don't know if we're going to play against Valduk again, but I will see you in the next game. All right, bye. Welcome to Omnath Road Rage. As far as our opening hand goes, yes, we're going to keep on this one. We got Elvish Mystic, Tri-Belder. We've got like the 1, 2, 3 ramp on this, and that is just absolutely stunning. We will keep on this one. And we're playing against Karametra, which is pretty cool. It's almost kind of like a battle of the land commanders that are somewhat fair in a way. It's not like we're playing against Lorewind Grace or something like that. That's just not that Lorewind Grace is overpowered, but I think you get what I'm saying. With Karametra and Omnath, once you're getting down to the point where we have Karametra or Omnath down and you're taking advantage of it, there's some very, very nice fireworks. So let's go and lead off with Scalding Tarn. Let's go and crack Scalding Tarn. And what are we going to grab? Do we want to grab Let's grab Taiga Bookut. And let's go for Elvish Mystic. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. Playing Omnath. Land enters the battlefield. We get a 5/5 elemental. Then whenever an elemental we control dies, deals 3 damage to any target. Playing its Karametra, God of Harvest Moon. Indestructible Devotion 7 turns into a creature. Then whenever you cast a creature spell, you may search your library for a forest or a plains card. Put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. As far as Harvest Moon goes, Friends of Mineral Town was the best Harvest Moon that they've ever made. And I really enjoy it. Stardew Valley has replaced Harvest Moon in my life, which that's kind of bittersweet because I played Harvest Moon from like Game Boy Color all the way up until now. But when they went away from the 2D perspective and kind of like this weird 3D perspective, it just killed Harvest Moon. And that's what makes Stardew Valley so good. So if you want to play a good farming game, I highly recommend Stardew Valley. It's a lot of fun. So we've got Elvish Mystic. We can go for a Chromatic Lantern and Soul Ring. I think that sounds pretty good. Let's do this. Just so I'm not saying our opponent's going to scoop, but sometimes it does happen, and I'm not saying our opponent has a history of it, but let's. I'd rather not scoop because this is a very nice hand. So we're gonna have Tri-Builder come down. I've already made the land drop for the turn. Let's go and get in for 1, and then knock them down to 29, and we'll pass the turn. Yeah. The reason I would do a play like that, because we could sequence this a lot differently. We could have gone Soul Ring, Chromatic Lantern. When you have really explosive mana sometimes, for some reason, people just scoop. And it's just 1v1. It doesn't happen a lot, but in times like this to where it's not crucial that we just run it out. And, if we just end up going Chromatic Lantern and then Soul Ring a later turn, that's fine. But there's just some people that are so offended at the thought of you dumping your hand out like Affinity and getting a lot of mana on the battlefield. So, but the good thing is we'll at least leave up Tri-Belder for a land drop with Omnath Locus of Rage, which will be very nice. So, in fact, let's go, since we have Sylvan that's blocking on Elvish Mystic, let's go for Chromatic Lantern. And we'll end up getting down Hall of the Bandit Lord. That way we can give Omnath a little bit of haste, which would be pretty good. And then I think we'll still Yeah, we'll still end up going Chromatic Lantern. Why not? We'll get down Soul Ring and then pass the turn to our opponent. So, but yeah, as far as Omnath goes, one of the cool things about this deck that I really, really enjoy is that this is kind of like a mix of a token deck. It's a mix of an enter the battlefield style effect. We've got Pandemonium in here. We've got just some really good stuff. As far as the vehicle that Omnath and Moshbridge Troll are driving to their job at the command tower, it's going to be Sky Sovereign Council of Flagship. So that's kind of their vehicle of choice that they try to go for. And other than that, it's just kind of like a nice mix of Pandemonium style damage and just tokens, which is so much fun. You know, if you haven't played with Pandemonium, highly recommend the card. In fact, with the new Porphyros coming out, oh, I cannot. I've got 2 or 3 different deck ideas for the new Porphyros. I'm thinking about building a dragon deck out of it, but for the main part, I'm really looking to convert one of my first casual decks, which was like a Cloud Post Pandemonium deck, into Porphyros. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So our opponent is hung up at our end step, so I'm going to let them. Oh, there they go. They passed it through there. Okay, let it kick back. I was gonna let them just kind of do their thing, but yeah, As far as the rest of the deck, we've got the Pandemonium in here. We've got Warstorm Surge. We've got Soul Blast, and Soul Blast is a 3 mana, triple red. I think it's sorcery. It might be instant. I can't remember. But with Soul Blast, you sacrifice any number of creatures, and you deal that much damage to a target. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And one of the cool things about that card is, you can get a lot of elementals on the battlefield with Omnath. And so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we get a land drop with Omnath. I think we might end up doing that. Yeah, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and actually, yeah, we can actually end up just going for Omnath next turn. Yeah, that's going to be perfect, especially with the Tri-Builder. Yeah, that's going to be good. Okay. So we run into Fabled Passage. That is wonderful. All right, so we're gonna go for Hall of the. We're gonna go Hall of the Bandit Lord. Gonna make sure old Mr. Omnath has haste. That way we can swing in and get some pretty good damage in. That's gonna be green. That's gonna be green. Let's go red. Let's go red. And okay, there we go. For some reason, it was like tapping downward. All right, so we're going to have Omnath enter the battlefield. He does have haste. Let's have Fabled Passage enter the battlefield. And we can just cash in a few more extra elementals. Oh, yeah, look at that. All right, so we're going to have the 5/5 elemental enter the battlefield. This feels so good to be doing this good with Omnath. Normally, when I play him, I usually don't get this good of a video. So this feels just absolutely wonderful. Let's grab ourselves another forest. And then that's going to be another 5/5 elemental. And then let's go and push in with Omnath and secure Tri. Look at Tri-Builder. He's so not ready to attack, but hey, when the time comes, Tri-Builder's got to attack. So let's go and swing in for 6. It's going to put them down to 23. And then we'll pass turn back over to them. One of the fun things about Omnath is, let's say our opponent does have Wrath of God. They have some sort of board wipe. One of the cool things about Omnath is you kind of have like built-in board wipe protection. If they end up going for that, you can still end up dealing 9 damage to our opponent. It's just a really good feeling being able to just generate some sort of value with Omnath. And one of the things I do want to recommend that is, if you're wanting to build Omnath, this deck definitely works really well as a ramp deck. You know, you have a lot of mana in there and just a lot of ways to get a lot of lands on the battlefield. But one of the main important things you do want to keep in mind is you want to be able to generate some sort of value the turn that Omnath comes down. And so, whether it's a land drop, all right, there we go, Wrath of God, or Winds of Wrath. So let's go ahead and crack Tri-Builder. That way we can at least just get an extra elemental on the battlefield. That way we can deal 9 damage up top. So that's going to be 1, 2. We have double red, double green. I guess doesn't really matter. We've got a lot of lands in the hand, so we'll just grab ourselves another forest. Have that come down. That'll be at least be 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, we don't want to send Omnath to the command. We could send Omnath to the graveyard, but I think we're going to be okay with this one. So let's get the damage up top to our opponent. And the good thing is, I think we might have enough mana to just simply hard cast Omnath again. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Now we will be able to get in for damage, but we're not going to be able to cash in an extra token. But with our opponent kind of being against the ropes, we might end up doing that. So we'll see what we can kind of come up with. But at least they did hit the reset button. There's no more mana dorks over there. And then hopefully we rip into something pretty nice. All right, so Blighted Woodland. So we get Omnath pulled back up. That's going to be 9 total mana. Yeah, and I think if we set it up for next turn for a Blighted, yeah, we might as well just go and give it a shot. So let's have Blighted Woodland come down. It's going to enter the battlefield untapped. Let's go for Omnath. So have Omnath into the battlefield. He does have haste, so we're at least going to be able to get in for another 5. Look at Omnath. He's so angry at Karametra for blocking the freeway. Let's go and swing it for 5. Let's knock him down to 9, and then we'll go and pass the turn. But yeah, as far as other win conditions for the deck with Soul Blast, that's one that I always want to go for because, you know, the cool thing about that is you sacrifice elementals to Soul Blast, and you can see where you get that extra damage. Then you get to deal a lot of damage at the same time. The other option is I haven't got down Mosh Bridge Troll in a very long time. It's one of those cards that I would never cut from the deck. It's very expensive, but you know, if Magic Christmas Land ends up coming online for us, then we can make that happen. So it's always a pretty good feeling. We'll see what our opponent's gonna get down this turn. If it's another, all right, that's another board wipe. That's going to be Realm Cloak Giant taking care of old Mr. Omnath over there. Let's see. We rip into another mountain. So that's going to be 9. That's going to be 11. 1, 2, 3. And I guess we just could potentially go for Blighted Woodland. I was hoping to save that with Omnath, but at this point we just didn't get as many lands on the battlefield. So let's just go ahead and grab a Blighted Woodland. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. We're going to grab 2 basics off this Blighted Woodland. We'll split this one down the middle again. A mountain and forest. Those enter the battlefield. Let's make the land drop for the turn. Oh, excuse me. We've got Command Beacon. For some reason, I was thinking this was Homer Path. This is something that we could definitely have used, utilized this turn to get in for a little bit extra damage. So we might end up doing that next turn. Yeah, that was a little bit of a misplay on my part. Sorry about that. For some reason, I was thinking Command. Yeah, I was just thinking that was not the one where it puts it into your hand. I was thinking... yeah, Homeward Path for some reason, but the art's totally different. So that's just a goof up on my part. If I ever forget, okay, here's a little bit of an inside tip when I'm recording. If I ever forget about a card and it's the furthest left card, like in my hand right here. So if you can see my mouse, you know, I'm covering commanders over here, and then on my second monitor, it's to the right of my screen. That's where I have my deck list up. That's where I have the chat pulled up. And so if I ever miss something, it truly is because my eyes didn't go far enough over to that one. So yeah, that's just a little bit of behind the scenes on Jolt. I just forget about stuff sometimes. So all right, so we got Rex Sage hitting Soul Ring, which is pretty on brand for that. But the good thing about Command Beacon is that we can get that down. That's gonna be able to come down with haste with Hall the Bandit Lord. Yes, we will be able to do that. We'll probably see a Rex Sage end up blocking on that. Ooh, and then Raging Ravine. Okay, I think we need to at least force some sort of issue from our opponent. So let's have Command Beacon come down. Let's go and sacrifice Command Beacon. Let's put old Omnath back into our hand. And let's make sure that Omnath does get haste off of Hall of the Bandit Lord. All right, so we're going to have Omnath come down. I'm just going to push in for another 5. It's going to see Reclamation Sage more than likely chump block. But if they don't, we'll get in for 5 and put them down pretty low. And then outside of that, hopefully they've run out of stuff. We saw Realm Cloak Giant. We saw Winds of Wrath. They do have a Miri's Guile, which is basically looking at the top 3 cards of their library. So depending if this is Karametra board wipe, we'll kind of see what we can assemble. But at least we're able to dodge that commander tax one more time. And eventually we might be able to just kind of Raging Ravine this one out of the game. Our opponent's going to hit a Terminus. Okay. All right, so it's going to send Omnath. We could put it on the bottom, but we'll just go and put it back into the command zone. And we'll just try to grind this one out with Raging Ravine. We'll see what can end up happening. We'll see what we draw into. Thankfully, we do have some good options. We do have some good enter the battlefield effects. So if we can deal some damage to our opponent up top, that might kind of help us grind this game out. But we shall see. Okay, so let's see what we... Oh, Faith is Looting, which is pretty much what we... Very good option, because we can flash it back. So that's going to be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we at least make the land drop and have that happen. Let's just see what we dig into with Faith is Looting. We're able to draw 2 cards. And thankfully, since we have 3 lands, this should be a pretty good option for us to... Ooh, Ancient Tomb's good. We'll actually discard Forest and Mountain. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with Ancient Tomb. Let's go Faith is Looting again out of the graveyard. Ooh, and then Crater Hoof. Okay. But we're not going to have a ton of creatures with that, but we can at least maybe sequence a few land drops potentially. Let's get rid of Rampant Growth. And I like having Crater Hoof on this one. The question is, Ancient Tomb gives us a good option. I feel like if we're going to close the game out, we almost need Prismatic Vista as a kind of way for us to. Because Rampant Growth is going to get an extra lane on the battlefield. Let's get rid of Raging Ravine. Because that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we will have enough with Ancient Tomb. Yeah, I guess we just get rid of Rampant Growth in those. All right, so I have Ancient Tomb come down. And then anything else, I think we just pass the turn to our opponent. We could try to jam a Crater Hoof, but let's just wait to see what kind of the follow-up is from our opponent. And then we'll go for casting old not Moshpitch, but Omnath next turn. So we will have exactly just enough mana to cast Omnath. That's going to be 11 total mana. We still have Prismatic Vista to go for, which is going to give us a few extra creatures on the battlefield. If we can get it to where Omnath's on the battlefield and we can dodge another board wipe, that's going to be really good for us because it kind of keeps us open as far as, maybe sacrificing some creatures, sending that damage up top. We'll see what's going to happen. As long as our opponent just doesn't just all of a sudden just like assemble some sort of crazy life gain, I feel like we'll be in a pretty good bet. So, and then if we can just have a few extra creatures down once we slam that Crater Hoof, that'll be a very good option for us. And especially with Soul of the Harvest out there, getting that card advantage, that card draw, we definitely need to get some sort of win from our opponent if we can. So, all right, that's going to be Yavimaya Granger. Enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic. Okay, yeah, that's good. Ooh, and that does turn on Devotion for Karametra, which they can swing in. That's going to be 7, puts us down to 13. Thankfully, we can kind of rebound, and our component is completely tapped out. Or at least not tapped out, but, I mean, they are tapped out, but at least they're out of cards in their hand, which is hopefully going to help us kind of deploy Omnath out. Because with their life total being so low, if they do end up swinging in, all we have to do is throw a couple 5/5s in front of their creatures, and that'll really help us out. Okay, they decide not to swing in. So I do like that. It's going to be a little more of a defensive play from their part. Let's get this Realm Cloak Giant closed out. And then Wooded Foothill. So let's have Omnath come down. Okay, there we go. So we have Omnath come down. Let's go for Wooded Foothills, because either way, we're going to have to pay some life, so we might as well get another land. Let's have Omnath get that 5/5 elemental on the battlefield. Let's go and crack Wooded Foothills. Since they are tapped out, we don't have to worry about Path to Exile. If they had just a hint of white mana, I would wait in response to something like that. So not going to pay 2 life. I'm going to get ourselves another elemental, and then next turn, we'll see if we can jam some Crater Hoof. So if they have another board wipe, we might end up not tossing it to our opponent, but that'll be almost a good game for us because Omnath's commander tax has gotten up so high. I can imagine him in Mossbridge's car is not looking very good right now. But we've got a good option for next turn. We've got Crater Hoof, we've got 2 more elemental tokens, and I think that'll be more than enough to close it out if we do decide to swing it in our opponent, because eventually they're going to run out of good options to clear the board out. And like I mentioned earlier, if they do get another board wipe, we'll just send send Omnath to the graveyard, and that'll be 9 damage to them, and that'll close the game out. So it is a good feeling knowing that we can at least, no matter what happens, they almost need to have some sort of spot removal to close the game. So all right, we're going to see Mr. Sad Robot come down. That's going to get an extra lane for them and allow them to get a lane on the battlefield too. Okay, that's going to be Vizier, the Menagerie. That's going to be, look at the top card, cast if it's a creature spell. If it's a creature card, then you spend manas or any. Okay, all right, so that's going to be Vizier. That's going to be an extra force or planes. Let's see what the top part of their library is whenever that enters the battlefield. And that does turn on Devotion for Karametra too. Oh, and excuse me, we don't get to look at the top part of their library. They can see the top part. So it's going to be Wall of Blossoms coming down. Even if they do assemble a few more creatures, the fact that we do have a Fetch Land and Crater Hoof, that should be enough for us to even push past that. So another option that we do have to close it out is if we draw into some sort of sack outlet. That would be another good thing for us too. So, but hopefully they don't... I mean, I think that's going to end up being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be 6 and 6, 36. I think we've got it. We'll kind of see what ends up happening next turn. And the good thing is, man, look at all those creatures. The good thing is Omnath will, the Crater Hoof does give us Trample, which is going to allow us to push past a lot of these creatures. And with them only having Governey Township up, we should be in a pretty good position to, I think, yeah, because that's a lot of, 1/1s over there. They've got 1, 2, 3, at least 3 1/1s, which we're definitely going to be able to push past on that. And let's see if they get any swing ins, because yeah, we're looking at Karametra swinging it. I guess technically, if they wanted to be aggressive, they could actually swing in with Karametra, and they wouldn't really see much of a block from us or even Soul of the Harvest. But this should set us up pretty nicely. So run into Haro. So let's see. So we definitely would make the land drop for the turn. That's going to be Prismatic Vista. So we're not going to get. Yeah, so we'll have that come down. That's going to be an extra elemental. That's going to be a 5/5 elemental. Let's go and crack Prismatic Vista. Grab ourselves a mountain. That's going to be an extra elemental. And then I think we can actually still end up going for Haro, because that's going to be 2 extra ones on there. Yeah, we're going to have more than enough mana to do that. So let's go Haro. We're going to sacrifice mountain. That's going to be 2 basics, and these basics actually enter the battlefield untapped, so that's really going to help us power out this Crater Hoof. Let's grab 2 forests. Those enter the battlefield. Oh, look at that. Let's get these elementals on the stack. Let's always yield to those triggers, and we should have more than enough to close this bad boy out with Crater Hoof. So get those elementals going, and this is going to make Mossbridge very, very happy, and also Omnath very happy too. So let's have old Crater Hoof come down. There we go. We're going to have Crater Hoof. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that is beautiful. Look at that. Let's see what we're going to get now. 13 13s across the board. We're like going down the freeway. All right, opponent's going to scoop it up on that one. There we go. Look at that Omnath Road Rage closing it out. So we got the commander tax jacked up super high with a lot of board wipes in that Terminus. But thankfully, through Omnath's skill driving and Mossbridge playing some beautiful metal on that radio, we were able to close the game out. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.